Sairam students, I welcome all of you once again to the second part of lesson number 5, the substances in the surrounding, their states and their properties. So, let's recall once again whatever we have learnt in the last lecture. So, if you remember student, in the last lecture we have seen one experiment. So, in that experiment what we have done, we have took pieces of the wax, am I right? So, what we have done, the pieces of the wax which we have took initially, that was solid in state, and after that we provided heat to that wax. So when we provided heat to the wax by using the spirit lamp, that time the solid wax, it got converted into the liquid wax. That means the wax got melted, and afterward when we kept that liquid wax into the cold temperature or in the refrigerator, that liquid wax, it got again solidified. So that means what student? When we heated the wax got melted, and when we provided cold temperature to the wax, the liquid wax again got converted into the solid format. And again in the last lecture, if you remember student, we have seen many examples, like we have seen that the solid camphor and the naphthalene ball, they directly convert from solid to the gaseous state. And again we have seen that petrol, spirit, etc., they are in the liquid state. So the petrol, diesel, whoever are in the liquid state, they immediately convert into the gaseous format. Am I right? So these are certain examples which we have seen in the last lecture. And again we have seen that when we provide heat to the solid thing get converted into the liquid thing. When we again heat the liquid thing, the heat gets converted, the liquid component converted into the gaseous form. And when we provide cool temperature to the gaseous thing, the gas gets converted into the liquid thing. And again when we cool down the liquid again gets converted into the solid format. So this is the change of the state. And the definition of the change of the state states that when a substance changes from one state to the another state, when a substance changes from one state to the another state, this process we call it as what? The change of state of the substance. What we call it as? The change of the state of the substance. So what we have learnt in this topic students? So we have learned that from this experiment, whenever the substance is heated or it is cooled, the state of that substance immediately changes. So that there are many type of the substances which are present around us. They are either found in the solid state, liquid state or gaseous state. Okay. So students, over here we have learned that the heat changes the physical state of the substance. So what we have learned so far, we have learned that the change in the physical state of the substance is an effect of amount of heat in it. That means on gaining the heat of the substance changes from solid to liquid, and on gaining the heat, the liquid component changes to the gaseous component. On the other hand, we had seen that when that substance cools or they loses the heat, it again changes from gaseous to the liquid format and again liquid to the solid state. So these are the certain changes we have seen here so far. Am I right? So students, now we will learn about what are the properties of the solid state, what are the properties of the liquid state, and what are the properties of the gaseous state one by one, so that you will get the difference between what is solid, what is liquid and what is gaseous substance. Okay. So see here student, the property number 1, or you can see that, now look at this image. Now student, here you can see that there are cubes of the metal. Am I right? So as you can see that, look at this solid format. Now you tell me what is the shape of this solid. Can we change the shape of the solid very easily, or it has a definite shape? It will remain as it is as long as we will keep it like that only. Am I right? So can I say that from this property, the solids has a definite shape of its own? The solids has definite shape of its own, and at the same time it retains their shape no matter how we are going to keep it. However we keep it, that is going to remain same as it is, there no changes. and at the same time, as you can see that the solids have a definite volume. Solids have definite volume and solids have definite shape. So this is the property of these solid substances. Is that clear? And again student, if you can see that over here, suppose solids like sugar or sand, solids like sugar and sand, when we poured on the flat surface, they form a heap. What do you mean by heap? So let's see that over here. Can you see here image? So when the sugar or the sand surface, when we pour it on the flat surface, they are forming heap. So this is the, it is called as what? Heap region. So that means what? Can we say that the solids has definite shape and solids has definite volume. Is that clear? So whatever substance which you see around us, they are like that only. They don't change their shape and volume even however we keep them. So they comes under the category of what? Solid state. Is that clear? Now let's learn about the liquid state. So now what is liquid? So when we talk about the liquid, the first thing which comes in your mind, that is water. Am I right? So the water comes in our mind whenever we talk about the liquid, right? So now students, you tell me that water has definite shape? No, water don't have definite shape. So like in this image, I have kept the water in a glass. So the liquid occupies the shape of the container. Suppose if I pour this water in the cup, so water will occupy the shape of the cup. Am I right? So can I say that the liquid has no definite shape? Okay, so here you can see that the liquid doesn't have definite shape of its own. Liquid takes the shape of the container. Liquid takes the shape of the container. Is that clear? So this is one of the property of the liquid. But the liquid has the specific volume. Liquid has the specific volume. Liquid doesn't have shape, but liquid has a definite volume and they occupy definite portion of the container. Is that clear student what I told you here? So can you see that here in the image? This is the conical flask. Now here in this image, the liquid occupied the shape of this container. In the previous diagram, we pour the water in glass. So the liquid occupied the shape of it took the shape of the glass. And here in this image, it took the shape of the conical flask. So that means we can say that liquid doesn't have particular shape, but liquid has a volume. Is that clear? So now we spoke about the properties of the solid and what are the properties of the liquid. Now here you can see that one more property of the liquid is that liquid spreads on the flat surface on pouring. Am I right? So when we pour the liquid, it will spray immediately and again the liquid flows downward along the slope. Wherever there will be more slope, the liquid will flow in the downward direction. As you can see that here in the image. Can you see here? Water, it is coming downward immediately. Here it is a oil drop. Okay, here it is a grease. So whenever we pour the liquid according to the slope, here it is the slope. So the liquid flows on the slope very immediately. So we can say that liquid spreads on the flat surface on pouring and they flows down along with the slope. So these are the properties of the liquid. Now the next property which we are going to learn, that is regarding the gases. So when we talk about the gases which we cannot see very easily. But yeah, water vapor we can see very easily. Am I right? So the water vapor which are coming out after boiling the water, they are the type of the gases. Is that clear? So here you can see that these are the gaseous substance. Now tell me student, gases has definite shape? No. Do they have definite volume? No. Gases do not have definite shape, they do not have definite volume. So as you can see that over here, the gases doesn't have shape of its own. Gases occupies all available space whatever it is available. Is that clear? So student, what we have seen that gases doesn't have particular shape and gases doesn't have definite volume also. So on changing the pressure on the gas in a closed container, its volume changes. Is that clear? So these are the properties of the gases which we have seen so far. I hope so students, you must have understood the properties of the solid, the properties of the liquid and the properties of the gases. Okay, so here student, it is very important to know the distinguish between what is solid, what is liquid and what is gases. So let's recall once again what we have learned today. So here you can see that we have learned that the difference between solid, liquid and the gases. So as you can see that in solid example given is a piece of iron. In liquid example given water, spirit and oil, and in gaseous the example given is the air. So what we have seen, solid has definite shape, liquid and gases they do not have definite shape. Solid and liquid they have definite volume, but gases they do not have definite volume. The shape of the solid it will remain as it is, but the liquid it will occupy the shape of the container, and the gaseous they do not have any type of the shape. Is that clear student? So this is the difference which we have seen between solid, liquid and the gases. So I hope so students, you must have understood the properties of the solid, liquid and the gaseous in detail. So in the next lecture, we will continue the next part of this topic. Bye bye, see you, take care.